They told me to be there by 7:30 sharp. The message came from Daniel, my oldest. Brief, straightforward. Dad, wear something nice. We've planned something special for your birthday. No emojis. No exclamation points. Just cold and exact. That alone should have warned me. When I arrived, the valet looked puzzled. He blinked at the car, then at me, as though I didn't match the picture in his mind. I handed him the keys anyway. My suit felt stiff and foreign against my skin. I hadn't worn it since the divorce proceedings. Inside, the place radiated elegance. Soft jazz floated over the clink of crystal. Waitstaff in tailored black drifted through the room like shadows. I scanned the space once, then again. No sign of a table set for family. No familiar faces. Just a booth in the corner, and there she was. My ex-wife. Hair slicked back too tightly. Smile tighter. And beside her, him. Gregory. Always prim, always smug. He had the kind of face that reminded you of an audit. When he saw me, he lifted a hand in greeting. Maybe someplace a little less pricey would have suited you better, he offered, voice soaked in mock concern, like I'd stumbled into a private club uninvited. I looked at him, then at her, and then I laughed. A slow, dry chuckle that came from somewhere too hollow to silence. I passed them without another glance and walked to the host's stand. Good evening, I said. Please let Mr. Lucien know his uncle has arrived. The host hesitated, then straightened like a soldier. Of course, sir. The booth they led me to sat above the room like a throne. Crisp linen that practically sneered with wealth. From there I could see everyone, and they could see me. I sat down and let the moment settle. 2 months earlier, I'd thought we were making progress. Family dinners, cordial text messages, even a birthday cake last year, both my sons standing beside me like old times. Then came the calls that went unanswered. Plans that kept shifting. And then the way Mia, my youngest, started referring to him not as Mom's husband, but just Greg. I didn't ask questions. Not at first. Sometimes silence is the last shield a man has. But dignity can only carry so much weight. It was at Daniel's graduation where I saw the truth. A small, exact moment. The way my children flocked around Gregory instead of me. The way he rested a hand on Daniel's shoulder like he'd earned the right. It wasn't jealousy I felt. It was erasure. I looked at my son, and for the first time, I didn't see the boy I'd raised. I saw someone performing affection, like a role he'd been coached to play. I went home and opened an old drawer. Photographs spilled out, birthday hats, Christmas mornings, his tiny fingers wrapped around mine. And I understood. I was no longer part of the story. Just a footnote, a past tense memory. So I started paying attention. Who had covered Daniel's rent on that new apartment? Why had Mia's college bills disappeared from my finances? Why did no one reach out to me for help anymore? The answer: Gregory. He wasn't just playing dad. He was funding loyalty, installment by installment. I contacted the school's financial office. Didn't even have to say who I was. I still had access to a shared Venmo account with Daniel. I watched the transactions appear, weekly payments labeled from G. The full picture emerged slowly, like mold forming in the dark. Gregory hadn't inserted himself. They had let him replace me. But the final blow came with the reservation. I'd called the restaurant a day in advance, posing as my daughter. Hi, I just want to confirm the birthday reservation for Mr. Hayes. A pause. I'm sorry, the hostess said. We don't have a reservation under that name. I thanked her, hung up, smiled. If they thought I'd show up, awkward and uninvited, hoping to squeeze in at the table, they were in for a surprise. Lucien, the owner, Once worked as a rookie line cook in the grimy kitchen of a failing French bistro I used to run. He was young, unsure, always covered in burns and hope. I gave him his first shot. He never forgot. When I arrived and asked for him, he stepped out of the kitchen like a storm in silk. "Uncle," he said, "want the booth?" I nodded. He cleared it himself, set the napkins, polished the cutlery, then disappeared. From my perch, I watched Gregory's eyes flick toward me when a glass of Chateau Margaux was delivered to my table. He whispered something to my ex. His face turned a shade paler. I saw Daniel glance my way, then quickly look away. Suddenly, their table looked cramped. They didn't approach. Not immediately. It wasn't until dessert arrived, personally delivered by Lucien, a dish not even on the menu, that Gregory finally rose. He walked over like a pastor about to deliver a somber sermon, hands behind his back. "Nice seat," he said. I took my time, wiped my mouth with a napkin, then met his eyes. "You ever heard of strategic starvation?" I asked. He frowned. "It's when you give someone just enough to keep them needing you, but never enough to let them grow whole." He didn't respond. "I watched you do it to my kids. Little by little. Buying their silence. Rewriting their memories of me." He opened his mouth. I raised a hand. "No. You don't get to speak." I laid a folded napkin on the table. Inside was a photocopy of Daniel's tuition ledger. Gregory's signature at the bottom. "Paid in full." "You didn't win their love," I said. "You just paid for their quiet." I stood, fastened my jacket. "And now you can keep them." I walked out, left the dessert untouched, never once glancing back at their table. Outside, the evening air bit colder than I expected. Or maybe I was just colder inside. The valet brought my car slowly, unsure whether to smile or stay silent. I didn't care. In the driver's seat, I adjusted the mirror. Met my own reflection. Not angry, not broken, just no longer there. They'd tried to erase me from the story. So I wrote a new one. Better, sharper, unforgettable. I never needed a seat at their table. I just needed them to understand. I knew how to set fire to it,